Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama. So anyway, I know River was reading, and if she had more people, I would have not kind of did this, but I was already inspired to do this talk here because of these comments that you got, and yeah. So and I usually have to catch it while the inspiration is there, otherwise it just kind of it's like when a sail is up, the wind comes in and catches it, so the wind feels like it's here. Yeah, so this is inspired by some of the comments that were on. I guess let's see if I can read this here. If I got it up here. Oh yeah, here we go. So I'll start with the writing, with the post I wrote here. So I wrote this post, and it says the essence of the problem is that Vaishnavas think they can understand the deep meaning of Prabhupada's books without pure devotion. Therefore, they are unwilling to hear submissively from a pure devotee. Okay? Instead, they hear from speculators like themselves. That's pretty nice. But this is so amazing, actually, so true. But and I want to prove it. I don't want to just everybody to blindly believe, say, oh, this is blindly either, reject it or blindly believe it. Let's go into discussing these things so that everybody can benefit. See, the highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of everybody. So we're all involved in this here. So let's start like this. Let's try to keep an open mind and go for conclusive truth. Because Prabhupada taught that conclusive truth comes by discussion. Just like Bhagavatam was a discussion of devotees. See? Problem is, generally not everybody's qualified to discuss, so what to do, yeah. Okay, so I wrote that. Now, then it obviously was a bit controversial. You are reading, and you guys can put up some comments or questions here too if you have some things. So one devotee says, if you are reading Srila Prabhupada's authorized books, you are associated with Guru, okay, who lives in his books, the ambassador from the spiritual world. He said, everything is in my books. We are all being guided on this journey of life by Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Okay? So he's saying, this is the answer. Because I say, you can't understand Srila Prabhupada's books except by the mercy of devotion. See, without devotion. And he's saying, all we need is Srila Prabhupada's books. Doesn't matter devotion or no devotion. Just give us the books, and that's all we need. Okay? So, Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a verse in the first canto, second chapter. First canto, first chapter, second verse. One part of the verse is only the pure in heart can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. See? So, only the pure in heart can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. So there's Srimad Bhagavatam. It's always been, every time there's a Srimad Bhagavatam, it's not only verses, there's commentaries from devotees, some by pure devotees, they're just commentaries. So Bhagavatam is not only the verses, but the commentaries. Okay? But only the pure in heart can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. See? And so the commentators are trying to help make it understandable, okay, by the writings. But is that enough? This is the question. Is that enough? There's a big controversy in Krishna consciousness now. Is that enough, right? Everybody's saying, no, some people say yes, some people say no, Ritvik say yes, and they say no, okay? So let's go really, really deep into this. Really, let's get to the bottom of this issue that has been going on for 50 years and nobody's been conclusive, in my mind, about it. They're all just taking their positions. Let us see if we can satisfy both the Ritvik party and the living Guru party in this discussion. Okay? Okay. Yeah. So the question should be asked, if only the pure in heart can understand Srimad Bhagavatam, how do you get a pure heart? One guy might say, usually a Brahmin type, you follow Vaidhi Bhakti. You follow the rules and regulations of Varna, Ashram, Dharma. See, according to Varna and Ashram and the Dharma, you can find Vaidhi Bhakti, be engaged in devotional services, pujas and practices, worshipping the deity, chanting mantras. See, that's how you get a pure heart. Okay? Does Bhagavatam confirm that? See, and that's what you're saying with Vaidhi Bhakti practices. All I need are Prabhupada's books and the instructions to follow Vaidhi Bhakti, and then that's enough. But does Bhagavatam really agree with that? Or Chaitanya Charitamrita? See, Bhagavatam says, you could say, there's different ways to understand Bhagavatam. One is by its direct meanings, and the others are by inference. Something infers something. Okay? Something you read here infers. So, and I'll give you one inference. So related to this is Daksha was a person in the mode of goodness. He was a Prajapati. Okay? In the heavenly planets, worshipping the Lord, worshipping God according to the rules, regulations of the scriptures. Okay? And he was in the mode of goodness. Could he understand Srimad Bhagavatam? Not by that pastime. See? Because if you understand Srimad Bhagavatam, that book, that's the book Bhagavat, right? That's the knowledge in the form of a book. If you really understand Bhagavatam, you'll understand who is a pure devotee, because Bhagavatam explains that. See? It explained, it inferred that Daksha, even though he's following the book and I'm sure so many commentaries by pure devotees and worshipping the deity, see? Still he acted wrong, inappropriately, because he didn't understand Srimad Bhagavatam. His heart wasn't pure. See? Matter of fact, Shiva was known in this pastime to be a pure devotee. Okay? And Daksha's heart, even though he's a Brahmin studying the Vedas and everything like devotees are doing now, right? Aren't they studying Prabhupada's book, all that stuff? His heart wasn't pure. His heart had envy, jealousy, and false prestige and competition in there. That's in the pastime, in the 4th canto. He fought against Lord Shiva. He thought Lord Shiva was his enemy. See, a pure devotee is never your enemy. They're always your best friend, like the super soul. They're always trying to help. And they can help even better, because the super soul, if you're all clogged up with all this bullshit, speculation, you can't communicate with the super soul, and that's the problem. People are all, Trinavartas in the mind and spinning around in speculations and all this, and there's no clear channel. So therefore, when the Lord is merciful to the extent of giving you the full mercy, you get a real bona fide guru, and through that bona fide guru you get Krishna. If you're ready, unless you need more shiksha, which is the case with Prabhupada disciples. And you'll see, as we go into this discussion probably. I don't even know what I'm going to really say exactly, it's just kind of happening. So Daksha's heart was not pure. Okay? So, how do you purify the heart if rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti don't purify it? Okay? Well, it comes into another verse, is Krishna in Bhagavatam, and Lord Chaitanya quoted it, that you cannot attain Krishna of Vrindavan especially. There's Krishna in Dwarka and all. You can't attain any Krishna. See? By rules and regulations, like Vaidhi Bhakti, you can attain maybe Vaikuntha, but it's very hard. You got to be flawless in your execution. See? And for many lifetimes. Just to be a Brahmin, you have to follow your Dharma properly, and Varnashram Dharma properly for 100 lifetimes. You could be a Brahma, so that's not really practical, is it? See? So how do you? So Krishna says not by sadhana, not by pious deeds, not by austerities, not by renunciation can you attain Krishna. See, only by unalloyed love. See, only by unalloyed devotion can you attain Krishna. See, so there you have to see the only practical path is the one path. See, and that path was taught by all the acharyas, even taught by Jesus Christ. In essence, he taught this path. Lord Chaitanya taught this path. Lord Chaitanya said in Chaitanya Bhagavat that, oh, it is so hard to attain prema bhakti. It is so hard. You have to rise to the platform of self-realization, like Narayan Raj preached, and the Gaudiya Math preaches, Gaudiya Samiti, and many ISKCON devotees preach. You got to rise by raising yourself up by your own works of chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, 16 rounds or 1 lakh or whatever they give. See? Do austerities, ekadasis, renunciation, renounce the world and everything. See? To get Krishna. Now that is the opposite of that verse. The Lord said, you can't get me that way. And they're teaching to get them that way. What's that called? Mental speculation. You're not really clear. You cannot understand these verses. That right? Self-evident verses right in front of you. Says, you cannot attain me by austerities. And they're teaching austerities. Even now. See? You can't attain me by renouncing the world. What are these sannyasis telling you? Renounce the world. Renounce the world. And everybody's, oh, I can't renounce. I'm attached with you. Oh, just renounce it anyway. See? Teaching the opposite of that verse. See? Pious deeds. Oh, keep going, feed, do this, do good deeds and all that. That doesn't work either. Okay? So, only by unalloyed devotion can you get Krishna. Okay? And so I did my verse along the lines of that. We'll get to the punchline, by the way. It's going to put a big punch in my eye, I hope. Okay? Big dent. See? So the essence of the problem is that Vaishnavas think they can understand the deep meaning in Prabhupada's books without pure devotion. You see? So Krishna says, I am not attained without this pure devotion. Without unalloyed devotion, you can't attain me. See? And I say the same thing, that you can't understand. See, if you can attain Krishna, that means you understand Krishna, right? You understand who Krishna is, somewhat. You understand his mood, his mentality, his personality. So, yeah, you see? If you actually understand Srimad Bhagavatam, you're understanding Krishna. So I say, yeah, you can't even understand Srimad Bhagavatam without devotion. Because it's the same thing. Lord Chaitanya quoted a verse from Bhagavatam. He said, Srimad Bhagavatam is the book incarnation of Bhagavan, is Krishna. See? Srimad Bhagavatam is the book incarnation of Krishna. See? And only can understand Krishna, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, for us, practical, through the medium of devotion. So did I write anything wrong there? See? Isn't that according to the Vedic conclusion, as it is? You watch this video many times and you'll start to understand what I'm talking about. Maybe you understand now. It's very good if you do. The ramifications of this. See? People have been building Vaishnavism here on a very flimsy foundation of inexperienced speculation. And I'm going to get to that too. How I'm building something here on the basis of the book and purpose. See? So how do you get this unalloyed devotion if Krishna can only be attained by that devotion? How can you read Srimad Bhagavatam when it says your heart needs to be purified 100%? Otherwise you cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam. How do you get a pure heart? See, Daksha didn't have one by following that way, just reading the book, studying, doing pujas like that. Well, that verse that Lord Chaitanya quoted there, not by austerities, renunciation, and so on, he said, follow the path of Srivas Thakur. This was to the brothers of Srivas Thakur. Follow the path, learn from Srivas Thakur, follow the path taught by Srivas Thakur, and you will attain the highest happiness, which is devotion to Krishna. Seeing these books here, and loving them, man. Loving these books, hugging these books, kissing these books. Kissing your good luck to understand these books, because you have the quality of devotion to understand them. See? You cannot, there's so many verses that talk of glorified devotion to Krishna, devotion, because without it you cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Even Brahma said, to realize Krishna, your eyes have to be they have to be anointed with the salve of love. See, the salve of love, which is when you have an awakening of love of Krishna, there's always tears. There's either tears or laughter, and choking the voice, all these things. But a lot of tears, man, a lot of tears. Without tears. Without that, it doesn't, you're not really getting this love thing. You can't, that's why if I'm a Ritvik and I don't cry any tears and I say all I need is Prabhupada's books, and I'm following as a Ritvik for 40 years or 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and still no tears are coming, and then I say, I don't need any tears, I just have Prabhupada's books, that's enough for me. And we all know, a lot of people know, Ritviks have a tendency to become a bit hard line. A lot of arguing and debates and all that, So they have their points and everything. But the point is, do they understand Srila Prabhupada's book? I say no, according to the book and according to my experience. Now, what is my experience? Now, this is really valuable, I would say. You think about it now, because Prabhupada ordered me to teach this Raganuga Bhakti spontaneous devotion. Okay? Say, okay, I don't believe you. Okay, well, fine. I can understand that. Krishna came and told my second disciple that because of her guru, me, this guy here, because of her guru, she got his darshan, and it was a real thing. I know it. I was there. So, my experience now. Now I've been preaching for 22 years after I got the order of Prabhupada to preach. Oh, darn it, man. I always have to write these things here. Okay. For 22 years... Is anybody a friend of Muna? Can you tell her that I'm live and come on if she wants to watch? See? So for 22 years I was preaching and some people were coming and going. Kind of like what Prabhupada was doing. He was preaching for many years. And people would come and they go, and they come and they go. Okay? So anyway, the last year and about a year and a half, that people are starting coming and staying. See? And they're hearing and hearing. See? And things are happening. So I have people here, say like the Ritviks mostly, they say, see? But in my experience, from the book, in my personal experience, says, well, doesn't seem to be exactly like that. Okay? Because in my experience, I have now, this is all documented. You can go and so you can go and interview these people even. Yeah, you can go and interview Janaki, Meena, and Johan. I mentioned them. They're not the only ones that have some bhakti, but I mentioned them because they come from ISKCON. All of them. See? They have some relation there with ISKCON. Janaki followed for 40 years and chanted religiously her 16 rounds. Okay? Meena also followed the Vaidhi Bhakti path dedicated to Prabhupada all her career, and she was initiated by Prabhupada. Janaki is 40 years. She was almost initiated by Prabhupada, but missed it. She came in 77. See? And Johann, he's like a grand disciple. I don't know if he got initiated. I don't think he did. But he was chanting regularly, like religiously, his 16 rounds, and 25 on Ekadasi and everything like this. Okay, so we got these 3 people, and they and Johann read the books 4 times, 3 or 4 times. So did Janaki. Read the book Srimad Bhagavatam 3 or 4 times. They're here now, and within a year, and actually started even less than that, within 3 months, they started to see, like, wow, man, now I'm really understanding Srimad Bhagavatam. See? And you can see from their experiences, tears are coming to their eyes. They're crying now. You know, so much is Janaki crying. Johann right there on the camera showing, you know, that he's so happy. He chants the Maha Mantra with devotional ecstasy, with devotion to Krishna. He reads Srimad Bhagavatam like a rasic devotee. He has ras, he tastes the ras of the verses. See? So, the persons here, they saying, well, all we need is Srila Prabhupada's books. And so far I've already proved that you need a living guru by the book. I already quoted you verses. And by my own experience. Because the people saying, you know, if you're saying that all you need are Prabhupada's books and you don't got devotion, what kind of authority really are you? And these guys, after they have a testimony, after 25 years plus, they're now getting ecstatic experiences. Why? Why? Because there is a real method to this madness. Where it comes in, because it's not madness at all. Okay, the method is the madness of the book Bhagavatam. I say madness. You know why? Because I just tell you what's in the book, and you think it's madness. So whatever that is, that's the method. I'm just telling you what's in the book, and here's what's in the book. I'll read you the verses. Okay. This is Adi Lila. Chapter 1, the teaching about the spiritual master, okay? Verse 98 through 100. But these 2 brothers, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, dissipate the darkness of the inner core of the heart, and thus they help one meet the 2 kinds of Bhagavatas. Persons or things in relationship with the personality of Godhead. This is an interesting topic in itself. We'll do a little bit later. So one of the Bhagavatas is the great scripture Srimad Bhagavatam. So my point is, that's the book Bhagavat. Srimad Prabhupada's books are the book Bhagavat. Okay? See? And the other is the pure devotee absorbed in the mellows of loving devotion. Okay? So, to me, the speculation is this. You say, well, this book Bhagavat is actually the devotee Bhagavat too. Let's just juggle a few things. Okay? So people have been doing that for 40 years, but they're not getting the result of this because I'm preaching what I can see is actually the self-evident verse here. We got a book. A book is a book, man. You could say, oh, this is Prabhupada. This book here is Prabhupada. Yeah, it's Prabhupada in his book form, but it's the book. Okay, you're reading this thing. Because, and you did it for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Can anybody honestly say that pure devotion has not awakened in their heart? See? Of course it hasn't. That way, well, you could say, well, we're going to do it. So for 40 years, people have been doing it. They've been doing here 40, 50 years. Devotion hasn't awakened their heart. But now it's awakening because I say the real truth is right, self-evident truth is right there, staring you right in the face by the great scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam. Isn't this a great friggin' scripture? Wonderful scripture? Huh? a great scripture, man. It's right here. In the form of a book. A book is a book. No. You know what speculation is? You say a book is actually a person. What is this? A book is a book. It's a book, Bhagavad, man. And a person is what? A person. I don't hear that. When I hear person, I think book. See? This is called mental speculation, man. Lord Chaitanya preached to Sarvabhauma about this. He said, you're a mental speculator. You can't see the self-evident verses here. The verses, how it says a book is a friggin' book, man. Book is book. No, book is person. You are a speculator, man. Book is a book. Can you hear me? No, I don't hear now. I see book is person. That's why their minds are going like this. Trinavarta, man. Devotion settles everything down. Then you can see, oh, book is a book. Book Bhagavad. Oh, person, pure devotee is a pure devotee, a living person, absorbed in the mellows devotion. You got to see these Ritviks don't, or anybody, even the living guru is another thing, man. We can get into that. We will probably. See? The living person is absorbed in the mellow. You say, well, the book is absorbed in the mellows. And proof is, every day you see devotees in our Sangha absorbed in mellows, and these people say, all I need is Prabhupada's books, but you can't even recognize the mellows on a living devotee. So therefore, what kind of, how is that going to purify people listening to those so-called authorities? Is that really an authority? Yeah, the guy, you can say, the book Bhagavad. Oh no, the book Bhagavad is a person. No, it says, the great scripture by one of the Bhagavad. See? One, that means there's two things. There's one, two. See? One of the Bhagavad, no doubt that one is two. See? This is called illusionists, man. Srinivas, they destroy delusionists by as it is truth, like we do here. We just destroy that ignorance. That's an illusionist saying, no, one means two. No, it doesn't. One means one. One of the Bhagavats is this book. And the other one is a person, absorbed in the mellows of devotion. Can't you hear? No, I've been reading and listening to people who told me all this speculation. See? Therefore, I don't understand nothing, but I'm going to act like an authority. See? And people are listening to people like that who can't see the self-evident truths of the Bhagavatam. They're trying to show you the path, man. But you know what? We're following the real path here because the result is the following thing. Through the actions of the book. You see, I'm taking the book here, and I'm putting everybody's nose in this book, man. Even a blind person might be able to see. Can you get that? See? By the action of the book. Here you go. And by the action of these two Bhagavats. See? Oh, no, one means two. See, this is Ritvik. No, one means two. What do you mean? No, it says the book Bhagavad and devotee. There's two. See? There's a living person like this guy here, this fool, telling you what's in this book by the action. See, action. I'm saying, the book is saying that. You're saying, no, it isn't. It's saying to. No, I'm saying, yes, it is. Look at it. Do you see that? By the action of these two. Not one book, two. See? They might say, oh, well, the Prabhupada is in his purports. That counts as a living. But yeah, where is it? People don't even know what is ecstasy. You got to see a devotee absorbed in the mellows of devotion. You got to hear from those persons who worship the Lord in those loving mellows, absorbed in those loving mellows, and hear from their realizations, from their clear sight. Otherwise, how are you going to clear off this speculation? After a class like this, if you're a Ritvik and you say, you know what, I'm not convinced, you don't abandon your opinion, even in spite of the truth clearly said, then you stay where you are. You don't move on. See? How are we understanding this? Well, we got the result. I got the result. I get people to come, and I talk I speak Srimad Bhagavatam to them, right? Teach them these concepts. See, by the action of the book, and this is say this person here, this fool is a devotee in question. We don't know, because he does definitely look a bit weird. Where's his devotee, man? You know, he's crying and laughing like a madman all the time. You know, that was Daksha's beef, you know, and all that. So we're not sure about him, okay? So, but by the action of this person in question, this fool in question, and this book in my hand, those who are coming to be the audience to listen, what is the result? The result is the next verse. Through the actions of these two Bhagavats, see, the book and the living devotee, the Lord instills the mellows of transcendental loving service in the heart of the living being. See? So that's happening in our Sangha. So a Ritvik can say, oh, that all we need is Prabhupada's books, and then they die not having the mellows instilled in their heart. I'm going along my merry way here, because I see, oh yeah, I take the book, and I speak to my disciples, and they're getting the mellows. We're getting the results. So who's really the expert? A Ritvik not getting the results of the loving service instilled in their heart and anybody listening to them? Or this fool, Gaur Hari Das, who is following the formula that's, I'm saying, this is my conclusion, and it works. See? If you follow a formula, proven formula, this is a proven formula, the book Bhagavat and the devotee Bhagavat, it works. See? It works here. Swarb Damodar, he said, go to these speculating devotees, like anybody saying that they know but don't know. He said, go and study Srimad Bhagavatam. See, go study from a living, realized soul. From a self-realized soul. See, you got the book and you got the self-realized soul interactive. See, by the action. There's action here, see. I'm sure there are sincere people that watch this video say, you know what? I held this thing, Prabhupada's books were always enough. I think I can let go of that because I tried for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, boom. But that didn't work. But maybe I should try what Gaur Hari Das is saying, because his formula is working. It's not my formula. I'm just committed that this is the formula in the book without speculation, as it is, self-evident. And it works. And proven. I mean, God, man, you look at the testimonies, man. Look at Johann, 25 years really following the book and all that. Didn't work. Yeah. Look at Janaki had a living guru even with his Satsarup. Didn't work. The mellows of devotion not instilled. Now they're getting instilled in her heart. She's crying every day, for hours sometimes, putting out the fire of material existence. Thank you there, Madhusudana. See, we're going to destroy illusion for the welfare of others. Isn't it nice? You know, for 50 years people are debating this stuff. But let's go to the living gurus now. Let's go to the living gurus who are saying, well, you need a living guru. Right? We got that one. All right, let's go to living gurus. Why isn't the mellows? Why haven't people? I'm sure the gurus will admit, well, you know, love of God. They do like Narayan Raj and all of them. They say, well, that's a very high thing, man. Devotion to Krishna. Oh, that was only for 500 years ago when the Lord and his associates were there. Well, you know what? If the Lord's associates are here too now, why can't love of God be as possible as it was then? Because that's happening here. Look at Johann. Look at one of our witnesses. I can't catch him one day when he doesn't cry in ecstasy or laugh like a madman like they did back then. So the living gurus say, well, you know, we'll just forget that one. You know, you're going to get Krishna Prema in this life. When you die, because you're with, you know, the Krishna, Hare Krishna, ISKCON, or Gaudiya Madhura. See, because you're with the group, Prabhupada will be there to meet you and then take you back to Goloka Vrindavan. Okay? Does the books condone that? That's another speculation. That is not the self-evident. Why is this verse saying that you need the mellows of devotion instilled in your heart? Why are you gonna? Well, because we're living gurus, and we're on a guru trip. We gotta help our disciples, and we're doing the best we can to maintain the movement. Okay, you're doing what you can with the deck you got. But that's not in the book, man. The book is by the action of the book, Bhagavad. Prabhupada took a lot of work to write these books. And a living devotee Bhagavat who has realized Krishna, which you can only do through devotion, the actions there, the mellows very quickly go into people's hearts, devotees' hearts. Well, that's happened to Johann. 25 years, it didn't get him to the point of other than, okay, this ain't working. I'm going to open up and listen here to Gaurahari. Same thing with Janaki. 40 years chanting 16 rounds every day religiously, and still, when am I going to get this? When am I going to get salt on the vegetables, man? When am I going to get spices, man? I'm just eating bland, unspiced khichdi. See? Krishna's the khichdi, but what's the spice in the khichdi that the gopis got? Devotion. See? Then you got salt and spices in Krishna, and it tastes very flavorful. That's devotional mellows, man. See, so a living guru is saying, well, we can't do like that. It's just, that's just so, we haven't been able to do it for 50 years. So we'll speculate a little bit. We got a checklist. If you follow this guru checklist, you're in good standing as a guru, and you can now take people back home to Godhead. But where is it in the book? No, in the book we go back again to the verses here. You got to get some lifetime. You got to get a living devotee Bhagavat who is self-realized because he has devotion to Krishna, which reveals the truth about Krishna. The right understanding, loving worship of Krishna. Some life you got to do that because the book says so. And your proof is your own ideas. You can't instill that in anybody. You got to come up with speculative theories every year. Oh, well, it doesn't work like that because we have party policies and we got our checklist here and we got to keep this thing going somehow or other. We can't. Okay, it's understandable, man. It's the highest thing in the world. See? But we got a formula here that will work for the Ritviks and the living gurus if they will just submit to something that works. If they really want ecstatic love, you want devotion to Krishna. That's the only thing that'll last. Lord Chaitanya said in Chaitanya Mangal, it's only devotion to Krishna, which is the only thing that endures forever. Devotion to Krishna. Devotion to God. See? It makes God interesting. It's so fascinating that you want to know more about Him every day. You want to chant His name and relish these devotional mellows more and more and more forever. See? So the living gurus, their theory isn't working. Nobody's theory is working unless you've realized Krishna. Then you realize the self-evident verses in Srila Prabhupada's books. What is the thing that I have to write a whole bunch of books? Narayan Raj keep writing all kinds of books, more rasic books, ras. Why don't we start understanding what's in Srila Prabhupada's books and find the real path? Because, the devotees here, some of them, their actual form, spiritual form is manifest. We got Ranga Lekha, this half-brain guy, quarter brain, tenth of a brain, whatever it is. Barely think right, remember anything. And his actual, he knows who he is. He she is, He knows. He just knows. The Lord has revealed it to him. He has the visions. He sees Radha and Krishna, and he cries, and he has devotional feelings. I know they're sincere. Real. He's got a good heart, purified heart, everything. He looks at the books now and he can understand these verses, more or less. I don't like his conclusion. You can just do what you want. That needs an explanation. It confuses already what's his name a little bit. Oh, I can do what I want now. Well, let me just make a mess of things for a while, you know. Okay, so the living gurus saying that, yeah, well, just follow this checklist and all that. See, again, it doesn't agree with the book. See? So it's very important. If you follow the formula, you get the result. So now, you know, this is why Lord Chaitanya said, or Prabhupada said, the Chaitanya Charitamrita is postgraduate. Okay? So why would he say that? Because I'm telling you postgraduate conclusions here. He knew devotees wouldn't know them, understand them before, because they don't now even. Unless some will, whoever is given to understand what I'm talking about, that, you know, the Lord will lead them to further associate, further hear, so you can go deeper. Because if you don't hear here, you're going to hear there. You're going to hear those giving you those conclusions. Oh yeah, all you need is Prabhupada's books, then you might become a Ritvik. See? And then after 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you're still more or less in the same place. Everybody knows, you know, that people, they haven't really, they're still materialistic Vaishnavas. No devotion, still neophyte. Then you got the living gurus. See, they teach, well, follow the checklist. Then you're a bona fide guru. Everything on the checklist isn't there. What is a bona fide guru, really? Or, you know, bow down to me, and then Prabhupada will deliver you. When you meet Prabhupada, you follow this. But that's not in the book there either. Gee, it's not. You got to meet the living devotee in some life. See? So we're doing the formula by the book. The book says this will work, and so this person in question here is proving to be self-realized because it's working. People are getting devotion to Krishna. So that comes to Lord Chaitanya's statement, simple statement. What is a guru? Oh, those who awaken devotion to Krishna are certainly the spiritual master. See? The whole parampara process is in just a little short pastime of a few sentences. And here it is. You want to know what is a parampara? Beyond all these speculations and word juggleries and all, from unrealized persons who cannot prove they're realized by awakening bhakti others. See? A real disciplic succession is self-evident in so many places, in so many ways. Very simple when your heart is purified. When you don't listen to the illusionists creating speculative theories and all this, creating some illusion. See? So this pastime is the father of a son. Lord Chaitanya said, is your son your father, or are you the father of your son? See? So the father said, actually my son is my father, my spiritual father, because your mercy was upon him first, and we have received devotion to Krishna through him. See, we got it through him, so that he's our spiritual father. See, what is that mercy? That mercy is devotion, the fructification of bhakti. So they saw the symptoms on the son, and the father wasn't too proud. Yeah, I'll take it. See, he went and be submissive to his son. See, so the God brothers in the movement should be looking who has the actual mercy of Prabhupada. They could have done that with Bhakti Siddhanta. See, the God brothers could have looked, does Prabhupada have that special mercy? And because they had some envy, most of them had envy and jealousy, all they could do is fight with him and cause him problems. Not everybody, but most. See? So they failed the test. They didn't see the book lesson there. And Prabhupada's God brothers, Prabhupada might like my God brothers, and that includes, if you consider me a grand disciple and everything, or not at all, because I don't follow the path of Vaidhi. Never liked it, actually. It wasn't for me. I've already had the next level already. Okay? So the test here is if a person really wants Krishna, if they're a real Prabhupada disciple and they really heard from Prabhupada, then they will come here and get this. Because this is what's being given. Devotion to Krishna is awakening people coming and believing this preaching. See? Believing that I did get the order of Prabhupada and Krishna did come and say he'll give darshan, he'll give you a relationship with him if you approach here and and hear here. Because the Lord is working here very precisely, as the book says. See? We stay with the book. Conclusions. There's not, where does it say, Gaurahari, you're not a guru, a bona fide spiritual master, because you don't dress, you don't follow Ekadasi, you don't do this, you're not a bona fide guru. Where does it say that? Lord Chaitanya said, no, those, you have to see the symptoms as a person absorbed in the mellows of devotion. See? You get the bhakti there, regardless what their external activities are. Okay? So, if you're following the Ritvik path or the Living Guru path, after 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and you don't get the result, the ultimate result is devotion to Krishna, well, maybe you should take our talks seriously and really think about them deeply, because I'm telling you factual things, showing you right in the book. You can put your nose in the book and see that. You can put your nose into the preaching of those persons, Ritviks, and the living gurus who haven't realized Krishna, and see they're still illusioning you by giving you something else other than what's in the book. They get your mind to think about something else. Oh, don't listen to Gaurahari, he's a sahaja. One guy was agreeing with everything I was saying, and then somebody comes, oh, don't listen to him, he's a sahaja. I had to make a whole thing about what is a sahaja this morning. Okay? So they create an illusion. Look at that. Don't look at what he's doing, awakening bhakti in others. Don't look at these conclusions that make everything clear. Clear and more clear and more clear. Don't look at that. Okay? Look at whatever I want to say other than that, other than the essence. That's called an illusionist. Okay? So I think that's enough on this one. So Hare Krishna, everybody, and see you soon.